favorite thing. Usually every 4-ish years, depending on
something.
results.
Yeah. So it's completely unnecessary, but I'm glad that it's happening. Gives me something to complain about.
There you go.
And
I was going to say, let's see how you're going to go.
I feel valid in complaining about it. You know what else is super unnecessary? I don't know if I've already complained about this. The wind. I hate the wind. Also, it's supposed to be a windy summer. I don't know how you project that, but so Mother Nature, you can only blame yourself for all the forest fires that you're about to incur.
You're right.
I
also don't love the wind, but you went from gas to wind.
Just a couple of things that are completely unnecessary that we could avoid high gas prices, and we could avoid the wind.
I could see gas being like over $4 this year.
Yeah,
in the state of Washington. We're about to find out.
I know.
All right.
Yeah,
we'll see.
So that's my little.
That's your.
Those are my hates in the world currently.
All right. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, you bet.
Thanks, man. All right. Welcome back to the Locker Room, number 43.
All right.
I'm your host, Justin Reed, alongside Andrew Tenney.
Leonard Weaver episode.
We're here on the nicely done. I had that one.
Did you?
I had that one.
Oh, he was my favorite.
We are here on the set of the Spokane Talks of Spokane Talks Medium. Appreciate it, as always.
Shout out.
It's also the 2020 Carlos Dunlap edition.
Oh,
I'm assuming he will be changing his number from number 43.
Oh, I really hope not.
What?
I love it. I think it's awesome.
I hate it. Do you know what I hate more than anything? We're going to go on something that I really dislike.
Okay,
I hate that the NFL is now going to allow different position players to wear different numbers.
I agree.
It's actually infuriating. That's one big reason I don't like college football is because I don't know what position this guy plays. He made a play somewhere, but I don't know if he's a linebacker, a safety.
Defensive back.
I don't know where he is because they all are similarly sized too, unless they're a top pick.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. However, in Carlos' case, I think it's kind of cool.
It's also Tremaine Pope. He had a little stint there in Seattle.
Spencer Ware was 44, right? Spencer Ware edition will be next.
Yeah, I think
week.
so. I think so. I'll double check. But all right, I'm feeling awfully lucky today.
Why is that?
No reason.
Oh, okay.
No, actually, there might be a reason. I just haven't figured it out yet.
Huh. Well, I might have a suggestion or a reason for you. It might be because this show, as everybody else knows, apparently you don't, is sponsored by Lucky Bird, a Spokane. Swoop.
That's a great start. That's a really good start.
All right, we're going to take it from the top. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Let's go ahead and just start the show right over. That was not good.
Okay, but if I could do this again, we're sponsored by Lucky Bird, a Spokane-based e-commerce and digital marketing company dedicated to helping local companies grow in the online world of e-commerce and digital marketing. We want you guys to visit luckybirdbrands.com to have a down-to-earth, no-pressure conversation about your digital marketing and e-commerce strategies today. Got through it. Booyah.
Nailed it. Just took you a take or two. That's fine. We'll get through it together. That's for sure. McWhippy wants to know if I got a haircut. I did, in fact, get a haircut on Tuesday.
Also, I was thinking about this in my drive over. McWhippy, I would love to see what your face looks like. I get it.
I like it.
I'm curious. He knows what we look like, and he calls me a tech guy, and you're the what? Beard guy?
Beer guy.
Beer guy.
And tech guy. I actually would like that too. Can you post photos to the comments?
Yeah, McWhippy, what are you,
I don't know if you can on a live video. If not, find us at what is it? Media? Is it media at Spokane Talks? What's our email?
I don't know.
What's our email? Info at Spokane Talks Media.com. Info at SpokaneTalksMedia.com. If you have a photo of your face, McWhippy, or if anyone else in the show would like to comment on our production. Yeah, just a quick little selfie there. Yeah, that's nice. That's real nice. Let's jump into – it's the biggest day of the NFL offseason. We have some NFL draft happening tonight. What's crazy about today is it specifically reminds me of how weird last year was. This was right at the peak of when all of the masking up and socially distancing and everything else really started rolling, because I remember I had 8 people over. And we had Outlaw Barbecue kind of cater. I mean, it's not a big catering event, but we were just this is the first thing we've all done together in 2 months, and so it was a big deal. So this year's a little bit different. I'm a little bit more apt to continue doing that, I guess. But I'm pumped that the NFL draft's here because it kind of just signals a new summer almost. We're getting here to May, and then we'll be in June, and the NFL draft is just a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun, and especially was last year just because, if I'm remembering correctly, it seemed like the first significant sporting event or occasion that was being televised and put on. You know, even with all the obstacles and hurdles.
Like the first
that
live sports
like
event that we had in 6 weeks, 7 weeks at that point. And I do like it. It's unfortunate the Seahawks don't have a pick in this year's first round draft. They traded it last year to receive Jamal Adams from the New York Jets, so that part kind of blows. But that's a good first-round pick. I do agree with the argument that trading your first-round draft pick for a top blue-chip player who's young still is a very good use of that first-round draft pick.
All right, so you're a Sean McVeigh guy.
Yeah, I like it if you can do it for a guy who's 25 years old-ish, somewhere in there. I think trading away and making like Orlando Brown. The Chiefs just traded their first-round draft pick to get a Pro Bowl tackle who's he's in his 4th year in the league, I think. That's a great pickup, in my opinion. Like, first-round draft picks are nice. You could get a 20-year-old stud, but you could also get a 20-year-old bust. Like, when you trade a first-round draft pick for a guy who's already established, I love it. It's a guaranteed win.
Just as an aside, like the fact that the Chiefs completely revamped their entire offensive line after cutting both of their starting tackles in the offseason, and it's like, okay, so offensive line was a problem in the Super Bowl. A lot of it was because of injuries, but now you just strip those two guys, and what do you think is going to happen to Mahomes? And they're like, okay, we're going to get Kyle Long.
Right.
They still have Remmers out there on the right tackle, and he took a lot of flack, a lot of losses in that Super Bowl. But
yes, he did.
Yeah, and now they have Orlando Brown. I'm forgetting who else they have. Oh, they got Joe Tooney from the Patriots. I mean,
It should work out well. The only issue you look at with those offensive lines when you have that much shuffling, because they always talk about the biggest deal with offensive line isn't so much their talent. Talent helps, but having those guys sticking together for the long run is what is able to build that up. So still, I think that was a win for them. I think it's a win for any NFL team that spends a first-round draft pick on an established, still young player. But anyway, we'll jump into some NFL news first before we get into our actual draft talk. Cryptocurrency flooding the NFL market. Thoughts? In or out?
Out.
Why?
Because I don't care to take the time to try to understand it.
There's a lot.
And it feels like a big, inflated bubble that's inevitably going to pop.
I agree. I agree with the, Dogecoin, the cryptocurrencies that are backed up on the shoulders of the people who are investing in it. It's literally, to me, and again, you're right, it's super confusing. I think of myself as a decent money guy. I can really keep track of what's going on in markets and things like that. But crypto has so much going on. There's so many options and so many things you can invest in. But it almost feels like Dogecoin and some of these other makeup cryptocurrencies, or however you want to call it, just doesn't seem like it's going to last. What's going to happen to me was what I feel like is the biggest spenders, the guys who created it, are literally getting rich off of other people supporting up their coin, and then they're going to sell out, and then everybody else is screwed. That's my thought.
I kind of hope that happens, to be honest.
I think that'd be pretty funny.
Then all the people on the internet will
are going to lose their minds, and I think that would be funny as well.
Yeah, no, that'd be pretty good.
So Bitcoin was kind of the first big one. That's what everybody in the NFL currently is looking at. Russell Okung, when he signed in 2020, ended up converting his entire salary to Bitcoin. Chiefs tight end Sean Culkin just, I think, 2 days ago, maybe even just yet. I think it was 2 days ago, is actually taking his entire salary, $920,000, and converting that into 17 Bitcoins. Wow. So instead of getting paid $920,000 of cold hard cash, he'll be getting 17 virtual coins. Trevor Lawrence also, I guess, is going to convert all of his signing bonus from tonight, which is going to be around $22 million, into 412 Bitcoins. I think Bitcoin has the strongest foundation because it was the first, and that's what everybody's doing. But at the same time, that's a hard thing to make money in because of the fact that it's what's the current price of Bitcoin right now? If you wanted to get into Bitcoin, you're not. One Bitcoin right now today in today's numbers is $53,180 and 25 cents.
Okay,
that's ridiculous. That's insane. So yeah, it's good on them, I guess. It's kind of fun. I don't know if I'd do my entire salary in it.
Yeah, no, I probably wouldn't do it.
That seems pretty ballsy. I think the whole idea of making money is diversifying your portfolio, and that is
that's what I hear a lot
to do it. I'm also out on crypto in general for now. We'll see if that ends up coming to bite me in the ass. We'll see.
One can hope.
One can hope. All right. Saquon Barkley yesterday also said he's back. In or out on Saquon for the
Oh, sorry.
Are you just
go
out
ahead? Did you have
general?
a more specific question?
So we talked before the show a little bit about him. Are you in or out on top 5 fantasy football Saquon Barkley?
Overall,
not
at the position.
Yep.
I'm gonna be out. I still think the Giants line is pretty bad. I don't have a lot of faith in that offense. I don't know. He's obviously really good. He's insanely athletic. He's insanely talented. Mm-hmm. He's a physical freak. Yeah. I understand all of those things. And he's been good when he's been healthy. Mm-hmm. I think
that's a good point.
I was going to say, I think the biggest question with him, is he going to be one of those guys that's it's constantly the question surrounding him is the health and the availability. And so for those reasons, I'm kind of out. If you ask me a year from now, it might be different if we, have seen him play at least the majority of a 17-game NFL season and perhaps into the playoffs if something crazy happens in that division and the Giants get in. But yeah, I'm gonna need a little bit more consistency on the field before I'm able to be back on the Barkley train.
Saquon train. So
I'm also a McCaffrey guy anyway, and just because they came out
right.
Yeah. No.
So you're hoping for your next year fantasy football draft that someone else takes him before your pick, essentially, so you don't have to. Because I feel like if you get to pick 5,
exactly.
You're gonna be like,
it's one of those things. It's like I don't want him, but I know because of the value and where I'm slated in the draft order that I have to. Yes, that is quite the conundrum.
That is the brutal part of fantasy football when you get into a position where you're like, I really don't want to take this guy, but if I don't, I'm going to get roasted. I'd rather take a guy like Saquon Barkley. I made this mistake with Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson came off of one of his best seasons ever, in 2015, 2014 or whatever. And I picked him back-to-back years because he carried me to a championship the previous season. Picked him again. I'm like, God, he's getting up there in age. And then all of a sudden he tears his ACL. He's out for the year, in game 2. But at the same time, that was the pick to make. As much as you're like, I really don't want to do this again. I know this is going to screw me. If you didn't pick him and he goes off, that looks worse in my mind than picking him and seeing him get injured.
Yeah.
So,
and this isn't his fault, but I also just don't like how much the media jumped on him, coming out of the draft and in the first couple of years, just anointing him one of the greatest running backs ever. And I understand it from a potential and a talent perspective. But, I mean, if you look at guys around the league that are a lot more productive than he has been. And again, because of health. But, yeah, no, I'm out.
All right, out on Saquon for now.
Yep.
Perfect. Antonio Brown re-signed with Tampa. They are returning every single one of their starters from that Super Bowl championship this year, which is wild. They're also bringing back now their number 3 wide receiver in Antonio Brown, who Russell Wilson made very clear that he would love to see him in Seattle. AB is awfully foible, but I still think that he's a playmaker and still has some good years, especially as a number 2 or even number 3, obviously, wide receiver.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talked about
and I think he's going to get more volume. I think he's going to get more opportunities next year, too.
I think so, too. We talked about AB going to Seattle. I think I would have liked seeing that, but they're really high on Freddie Swain, and I'm not sure why.
Really? I kind of like Swain.
I like him. He's fine, but he's not a guy who I'm going into the season I can't wait to see this guy.
I'm curious to see what he's like if he does get the presumed number 3 receiver spot now that David Moore's not there.
Right.
And Philip Dorsett. I mean, he had a really...
awesome
really prolific
year.
What
an awesome year by Philip Dorsett.
Yeah, if Antonio Brown had signed with Seattle, though, I wonder what those dinners would be like with Russell, Sierra, and Antonio Brown. Do you think she'd be a fan?
I think so.
I don't know. It seems like a conflict of interest.
It does seem like a massive conflict there.
I don't know.
But weirder things have happened in the NFL. Weirder things happen when you're winning.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Nice. All right.
Is Mcveigh showing us his face yet?
No, he said he just had a fever and a cold, so he doesn't look too good.
That's unfortunate. Sorry, dog.
That seems like someone's hiding something.
Rest up.
Get well. Thoughts and prayers. All right. 2021 draft tonight. We're going to go over a quick little mock draft, just the top 10, just because it takes a long time to go through the entire 32 picks.
Yeah.
But one thing that I do want to point out, a couple potential things to keep an eye on. Just this morning, there were rumors that 2022 draft picks are absolutely hot right now. nobody wants to give him up because it would be the first year in 2 years. Well, first year since this year, because nobody was really able to scout, right? There were players who didn't play. They opted out of the season. Scouting departments weren't doing what they normally did, and so they're expecting 2022 with also more talent, I guess, to really be important. So I don't know how much massive trades we're going to see then. If that report is to be believed, how many people are going to be able to trade up into the top 10 to grab, Justin Fields or whatever, whoever ends up sliding. So that'd be one thing to keep an eye on. I'm not sure how many moves will happen.
Especially considering from what I understand, it seems like about 15 through 18 after those picks, there's a significant drop-off in like the elite talent throughout the rest of the first round and then, going into the second and third.
Exactly.
Where you can still find like, pretty decent value. And obviously, I mean, we know as Seahawks fans, that's where they've had most of their success was in the second round specifically. But no, that's a good point. I'm curious to see how that all ends up playing out.
I still do feel like the Patriots could make a move up. They just seem like a team who, just because they're the Patriots, could do something that everyone's going to be like, oh, there they go again. They did it. They got a first-round draft pick trading a third and a fourth or something stupid.
Yeah, but Bill never trades up. He always trades back.
He does, but I think at the same time he feels a little bit of pressure because he doesn't really have any quarterbacks in New England.
Potentially. I don't know. They could still get Jimmy G-string.
It depends. That would be pretty funny. It would depend on who slides. Whoever slides in this draft will determine if the Patriots do make a move up.
Well, and Atlanta's been, fielding calls about trading back. I mean, there are quite a few teams that are trying to get up into the top five. Maybe get a Pitts or a Sewell or a Jamar Chase. Or
there's a lot of weird things going on here. My buddy AJ says that he agrees that Brown has a ton of foibles. He was actually the one who gave me that word, I think. Maybe. I don't remember. Somebody did. That's a great word, though.
It is a good word.
It is a very good word. But yeah, he is an excellent player overall. Probably the best wide receiver in the NFL for a good 5-year span.
Yeah.
I do.
He's up there with, DeAndre and Julio.
Yep. Exactly.
And OBJ for like half of the year.
His great catch and then 6 more games after that. Yeah. And he headbutted the kicking net. And, not good. All right. I'm going to start here.
Okay.
With the
number 1 on the clock.
Number 1 on the clock. Here's my pick. Oops. That didn't work out quick.
No, it didn't.
That did not work out at all how I planned. I don't know how this will. I don't even.
Number 1 on the clock.
Oh, we're listening to myself.
That was me, actually. Okay, let me just do it for you.
No, I got it. This is dumb. I had this all planned out. I was all ready to go, but I have way too much audio going around everywhere on this laptop. Okay, here we go. I don't know if that went through.
I can't wait to watch this back.
We're gonna find out if anyone else heard my my attempt there. All right, the first pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Trevor Lawrence, quarterback, Clemson.
Nice.
That's an obvious one. That one's gonna happen no matter what. I think that one could probably. I think if you had to put $1 million on anything in this draft, that is the safest pick, and it's not even close. Granted, it's number 1 pick, and it usually is decided months in advance. But everybody's talking about Trevor Lawrence being like the top-rated quarterback of all time that anybody's ever seen. He's good. Like, he's really good. I don't know. The amount of hype these quarterbacks are getting coming out of the league, out of college into the league, is just seems to be getting crazier every year. Like when I like Andrew Luck was a massive prospect, and I feel like the amount of hype surrounding him compared to Trevor Lawrence is minuscule. Like, the media is getting so wild.
Yeah, but Andrew Luck also wasn't in the college football playoff every year, and he wasn't winning national championships. So that's an additional layer of media coverage that,
and that's 100% fair. I don't know. The Seahawks never pick up here either, so it's like I don't know what like super high-end talent looks like.
And when we do, we get Aaron Curry.
Hey, that happened once. We also got Russell Okung was a cornerstone, and then Earl Thomas, so I don't want to hear it.
Okay. Well, I got the number 2 pick.
Well, who?
Jets, Jets. And the New York Jets select Zachary Wilson, quarterback, Brigham Young.
Yeah.
The second lock. I mean, it's essentially a lock.
Yeah, it would probably be the biggest.
It would be a huge surprise if they didn't take Zach Wilson there. And he's got a very hateable face.
Right.
Like, he looks like one of the
it's the BYU face.
He looks like Angelica from the Rugrats, but like grew up and was a male and then played football.
Right.
He's kind of got one of those faces. It was like, I saw like a tweet and it was like Zach Wilson looks like a Disney casted character for a Disney movie about a guy named Zach Wilson playing football.
That's good. I completely agree. He's
spot on.
very boring looking, very plain. But hopefully that also translates to being a good quarterback.
Yeah, I hope he's healthy because I think he could be exciting. I mean, obviously he's got probably the best arm talent in this draft in some of the throws that he can make. So, yeah. Zach Wilson.
I think that is the...
Also, we need to chill, and too many quarterbacks are wearing one now. If we assume that Wilson, because he wore one at BYU, is going to wear one, and then Justin Fields also wore one, there are going to be too many quarterbacks wearing one, and it's not like a fun number to look at.
Annoying.
It's just a line.
All right.
It is just a straight line.
Aesthetically, it's boring.
We need to chill. I thought Tua was going to be a 13, and he's now a 1. It's like,
and he's not a 1. He's garbage. We're going to get to the Dolphins here in a sec, too.
All right, you're up.
All right, I am up again with the number 3 pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. The San Francisco 49ers are on the clock. I'm really curious to see how that's going to translate over to the actual video.
Well, you've used it 3 times.
Well, according to Sam's giving us a little Maso Manos back there, so maybe we'll see how that actually does sound. With the number 3 pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers, this is a hard pick. This one is going to screw me, and it's fine because nobody knows what's going to happen. The San Francisco 49ers select Trey Lance, North Dakota State.
Ooh, okay.
So
the analytics department, okay, so basically from what we understand, Kyle Shanahan is gung-ho, sold, and committed on Mac Jones to run his offense.
Yep.
But it's the analytics in some of the front office members that are like, hey, we should do our due diligence in looking at Trey Lance.
Right.
That's tough.
They moved up because they were like, we're gonna get Mac. Like that was like guaranteed, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, let's maybe look at Trey Lance a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
And if you have Jimmy Garoppolo there, and if you intend on keeping him, why not get Trey Lance and let him develop a little bit?
I think he has a higher ceiling.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Trey Lance. He comes from a small school. We kind of have a little bit of Carson Wentz effect here, I think. Some people are kind of looking at that, like how can he read NFL-style defenses? He's an athlete. He can throw a good ball. Any quarterback I think that goes to the Niners has a good chance to succeed. I don't love my decision, but I mean, literally any 3 quarterbacks can be taken here.
Yep.
Mac Jones, Fields, or Lance could all be picked here. I really have no idea. And I just saw the report this morning that only Shanahan and
John Lynch.
God, I could see his square head sitting in the Fox NFL Sunday booth. Only those 2 know who they're going to pick. Nobody else knows.
Yeah, so if they're the only ones that know, I'm going to say it's going to be Mac Jones, I think. Because Kyle Shanahan's going to have the final say, I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
I could also see, though, being Justin Fields, being a smokescreen this entire time. Nobody's talked about Justin Fields going here.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from people saying like he would be a good value pick, nobody's really mocked him there because they've only been talking about Trey Lance and Mac Jones.
Yeah.
So because they don't want the Jets to take Justin Fields.
Okay.
That's not going to happen.
Okay.
All right.
I want my 4th pick.
You want your 4th pick in the 2021 NFL
Dirty
Draft?
Birds, Atlanta Falcons. And with that 4th pick, the Atlanta Falcons select Kyle Pitts.
And we're
tight
doing
end,
this,
Florida.
Yeah, great. Yes, that's definitely what should happen. Yep. We're going to do this with the fact that there's no trades, by the way. No trades.
Yeah,
This is just with the teams that are currently in their slots. Kyle Pitts should be the pick here. Absolute athletic freak.
Bonafide weapon.
Right.
Keeps defenses up at night kind of guy.
He doesn't have the stereotypical NFL tight end size. That's been changing, though. The last few years has been changing for exactly what the NFL offenses expect out of their tight end, as far as they don't expect them to block nearly as much, and that's not what he'd be brought in to do.
Yeah, no.
So he's a playmaker. He's going to put up good numbers there. I think the Falcons could use another weapon because Matt Ryan.
And, I mean, you saw what Arthur Smith did with Jonnu Smith over the past couple of years in Tennessee, too. So if he were to have a weapon. And, I mean, as far as just a talent and a prospect, he's number 2 overall by most of the analysts' big boards, pretty much. But obviously everybody wants a quarterback. So, yeah, Kyle Pitts, I think it's going to be, unless Atlanta trades out, I think that's who they're going to end up going with.
Yeah, I concur. I like that. Matt Ryan is the only thing that's keeping that team afloat, so might as well give him another life raft to work with there. All right, 5th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock. I have the Cincinnati Bengals selecting Jamar Chase, wide receiver, LSU.
And I think that's exactly what they're going to do because it's so Bengals, because I couldn't disagree more with the philosophy in taking him.
I agree, but I also disagree. So I agree with the fact that, yes, they need an offensive lineman, and they need one badly. But it's his buddy. Like he threw I think 1,900 yards, something ridiculous to him, and a bunch of touchdowns at LSU.
What do you think Joe Burrow himself actually prefers? Because Joe Burrow seems like a pretty level-headed, smart
and a
dude.
level-headed guy would say take an offensive lineman.
Yeah, but
there's no top-end offensive line talent, like game changer, Hall of Fame. Granted,
people seem kind of split on Sewell. Actually,
right.
Some people think that he's a lock for like multi All Pros, multi Pro Bowls, and some people are like, in this draft he looks good. But
I have seen people putting Northwestern's Slater above him.
Yeah,
he comes from a small conference, small school. So yeah, I'm not sold on an offensive lineman this early this year. I think they could probably find somebody who can protect Burrow in the second round, third round. I mean, just get a guy in there who can be a body. It's going to be better than what the Bengals have right now.
Yeah.
And so I think Jamar Chase is too good of a talent to pass up in this spot. Gives Burrow another weapon and gives him his buddy. The exact stats from him. In 2019, he caught 1,800 yards and 20 touchdowns for that awesome LSU team. So I think for the value right here, because you want to take the best player. Everybody talks about like taking the best player, not the biggest need. Biggest need probably is offensive line, but like Jamar Chase, I just feel like in this position is too good to pass up. But
I
could also
totally
easily
understand
see
the
them
logic
going
there.
with Sewell there. So
all right, give me number 6. My fins up, Miami Dolphins. And with that 6th pick, the Miami Dolphins select Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, Alabama.
I had him here too.
Yeah, so I think even if Sewell does fall to them, I think from what people are speculating, it seems as if they're trying to get a weapon. They need somebody that can run downfield and kind of take a top off the defense, and Jalen Waddle is certainly capable of doing that. Obviously, a little bit of familiarity with Tua in their days at Alabama. And I think Devontae Smith, just because of the body composition, is going to fall outside of the top 10. And that's not to say that he won't be a good and productive player in the league, but teams and organizations draft largely on traits, not production in college.
Right. They look at
measurables.
Right.
And so for that reason, I think that's why we're going to see Devontae Smith probably fall out maybe below the top 10. So
they're talking about him sliding pretty darn far because of his size.
Yeah.
I was watching Cowherd and they were talking about it. Cowherd brought up an amazing point. So they're the same, essentially the same height. I think Cowherd's an inch taller. He is 30 pounds lighter than Colin Cowherd.
Whoa.
Like imagine that. Like that's small.
Colin's on that soup diet, big soup guy.
Right, big soup guy. So I mean, the guy I always think of when I think of small wide receiver who has electrifying talent and is an incredibly talented playmaker is a guy like Percy Harvin, right? Like he came out of college and was an absolute monster. But these guys just, I mean, in today's NFL, like you get hit hard. I mean, you get absolutely killed out there.
Yeah.
And can I see him getting smacked across the middle of the field? Like Doug Baldwin got smacked multiple times. He's a small guy, but he also had a little bit more girth to his body, right?
Well, okay, so one thing I always think is interesting, when we watch these guys on Sunday under pads, a lot of time their body mass or how much muscle they have can be really deceiving because you have this massive shoulder pad and then an arm, which is about half the size of the width of the shoulder pad. But when you see these guys in their training gear or street clothes, that's what I was going to say. That's when it's really eye-opening and it's like, oh, no, these dudes are jacked. These are large human beings. There are so many pictures out there. Devontae Smith, and I do think he's going to be good. I think there's going to be a place for him, and I do think that he's going to be able to produce. But he doesn't even fill out his street clothes.
No, not at all.
Like, it's
he looks like a high school athlete.
It's kind of terrifying. It makes me nervous. Like, it gives me anxiety.
Well, that's what I mean is if I was in this position to draft him, I don't know if I would be thrilled about the pick wherever he goes, because another really good example of that is the guy who the Rams picked,
Tavon Austin.
Tavon Austin is a perfect example.
Yeah.
He's what? I mean, he's smaller. He's smaller than he was.
Well, and so you don't exactly want to use a top 10 pick on a second or number 2 or number 3 wide receiver, right?
Right. And that's what
DeVonta
he is.
Smith is obviously not ever going to be a number 1.
No.
Just by definition of what a prototypical number 1 wide receiver is in the NFL.
I agree.
All
right. We'll move here a little bit quicker. I'm not going to do the music because we are in a bit of a time crunch here. This is where I'm actually going to put. Where are we? You just did number 6, right?
Yeah, number 7, Detroit.
Yes. Okay. I also like that Waddle pick real quick as well, because they need to see if Tua can do it, and he needs weapons to show off if he can do it or not. All right, Lions. I have this is where I have Sewell coming off the board.
Okay.
Big reason why we look at what Jared Goff did in LA, and he needed that time. Like, he needs time to be able to because he can throw the ball. He can throw a good football if he has time. We saw it plenty of times. The amount of times he made good passes was absolutely infuriating. And then when he made a bad pass, it was like, there you go. Like, that's actually what Jared Goff is, because when he gets under pressure, that's who he is. They need somebody to help him. I think Sewell's probably a little bit more NFL ready just based off of the type of talent he probably played on a more consistent basis. So I'm going to put Sewell here.
Yeah, and with Dan Campbell and that new regime in Detroit and biting kneecaps off and stuff like that, you can't go out and with your first pick as, a new front office and take a wide receiver or a skill position player. Build in the trenches if this is the identity that you're trying to assume and become. So, yeah, I would agree with that pick if Sewell does end up falling that far. Okay, so number 8 would be Carolina, and actually I was going to take Sewell there. Now I can't. And it's kind of weird because Carolina just dealt Teddy Bridgewater to the Broncos, so I don't know if Denver would be more poised to trade up. I mean, they're just right after Carolina there. But now that we're having a little fun with things, I'm going to go Justin Fields to Carolina.
I don't know if anybody in the world has
probably not.
So
but we want to see a QB competition. We want to see if, a few years ago in a lot of people's eyes, who was the top quarterback prospect in Sam Darnold, a new situation, can beat out who may be the most controversial and polarizing quarterback in this year's draft. I don't know. It could just be for a little bit of fun. At this point, I have no idea what the hell is going to happen anyway, so why not have just a little bit of chaotic.
All right, well, that ruins my 9th pick here for
go.
Denver. So I'm gonna put Mac Jones here then.
All right.
Just because I think he's gonna jump into the top 10 here. I could also see if that does happen with Fields going number 8. I could definitely see. No, I think the Patriots would just get screwed here actually. So I think I think Mac Jones then would go to Denver at number 9. I think they do need a quarterback to compete, even though with Bridgewater moving in there, you still.
Bridgewater is this decade's stopgap quarterback.
Yeah, he's not. He's never going to be special. He's never going to do anything, unfortunately, because he actually looked like he had some talent there before his knee got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
I'm going to go then with Mac Jones here at number 9 to
Okay,
Denver.
and I'm pretty sure at number 10, Dallas is going to take, unless Kyle Pitts ends up falling to them, or they make a massive trade to get in the top 5 to get Kyle Pitts, they're going to take Patrick Surtain, cornerback.
They're taking one of the two.
Yeah.
Whatever
or
the
J.C. Horn out of South Carolina. Yeah.
Yep.
I kind of like Horn, just because it's Joe Horn's son, and I don't know.
Around the Horn?
No.
He could definitely fit on that show.
Depends on the Around the Horn lineup. But, Patrick
There
Surtain.
are some good lineups on that show, and there are some god-awful trash lineups on that show.
I've been seeing it recently, and there are at least 3 or 4 people now that I don't recognize, that I don't know at all, and I'm just like, no.
Kalashaw's my favorite, I think. He just seems very old school.
Oh, I like Jackie Mack.
Okay, she's nice.
Yeah. Plashy sucks.
He does.
I like Bill Ryan. No. Bob Ryan.
Bob Ryan
too, but he's a little past his prime. Yeah.
He is way past
Yellow
his prime.
teeth and his skin is falling off
so
his face.
fast. He is the bona
I
fide
respect the hell out of him, though.
stereotypical newspaper guy.
Yeah.
Stay in your lane,
I like
Bob
the 2
Ryan.
I like the 2 Boston people.
Yeah.
Blame me. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. But I also agree. So
that was our NFL draft.
That was our NFL draft. Real quick, Seahawks, kind of breaking news here about 45 minutes ago. They signed Robert Nkemdiche.
I think it's Nkemdiche.
It's a terrible spelling. But he was a first-round draft pick in 2016 out of Mississippi. Almost a lock. Like, a lot of people really believed that he would be a star at the next level. Had some off-the-field issues, had some injury issues. Last time he played was 2 years ago. I think he was with the Dolphins, I want to say. But he let's see. Yeah, he failed his physical with the Arizona Cardinals, was cut, signed with Miami, where he appeared in 2 games before he was waived. He has not played since 2019. Like I said, his best season was in 2018, where he started 6 of 10 games and had a knee injury that ended his season. But he had 4.5 sacks, 36 tackles, 12 tackles for a loss, and 8 quarterback hits.
Couldn't be more excited.
Not bad. A decent signing.
Robert.
A nice little competition Monday kind of signing.
He's a camp body.
Seahawks, yeah, unless he really blows up here. Real quick, Seahawks needs offensive line, preferably center, I think. Unfortunately, because I did think that Ethan Pokit, I hate his last name.
Yeah, me too.
Posich, however you want to call it, just did not do very well down the stretch. He actually started off the year pretty well.
He did start off the year well.
But it just did not pan out very well. Seahawks obviously have a lot of issues with draft picks this year. They only have 3. I would expect them to trade back multiple times. They could use another defensive lineman depending on the Aldon Smith situation, and they could also use a defensive back, specifically at the cornerback spot, considering they don't have much there.
Okay, yeah, you hit one of my – yeah, I didn't think the offensive line actually needed to be addressed too much because I actually kind of like the depth, like Jordan Simmons and Phil Haynes,
nice.
and really not bad as long as those guys are healthy.
Right.
The center is the only place on the offensive line in which I would agree could be addressed during the draft. I actually think the wide receiver depth is an issue. Obviously, it's kind of top-heavy, but we'll see if Freddie Swain does assume that number 3 wide receiver position. But beyond that, it's kind of like
there's a lot of question marks.
It's pretty dicey, so I wouldn't mind maybe a wide receiver. And I agree with you, cornerback.
Some kind of athletic freak late in the NFL draft that can maybe do something special.
Yeah, like a Steven Sullivan or something.
Put
him at defensive end.
Right, exactly. Might as well.
But,
all right, NFL draft tonight.
Watch it or don't watch it.
What time is it at?
I don't know.
Anyway, it's tonight. Usually it's like prime time, 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. Do you watch the NFL draft on ESPN or NFL Network?
ESPN.
Okay, me too. I agree. It's better. It is better for sure. All right, real quick, kind of an interesting little story. This will just take a sec because I did want to mention it. The UFC stock is now public, but it's not exactly UFC. Their primary ownership group, Endeavor Group Holdings, who owns 50.1% of UFC, did go public today. Starting at $24 a share. If you're interested, I think that's a good one because they want to buy more. Like they want to become like 75% plus of UFC. I think UFC can only go up.
Yep.
They also own Miss Universe and the PBR, which is the bull riding organization. Just kind of fun. All right, NBA will quickly – I was going to complain about Zion. I do want to show that video real quick because it was kind of a – I do want to mention that. I don't want to complain about Zion, but let's watch that video of him getting blocked.
12.
Definite block.
And Ingram was smart on one hand. He just got – all you got to do is get it 2. He goes right by Porter.
From that angle, it does not look bad.
Right?
There's an angle that's from under the basket. And you can kind of see right there. He smacks him. I don't know if you can even hear me.
Yeah, no. So, what do you mean? That look good to me?
I don't know.
You just like Zion. I don't like Zion.
Why?
His play in 5 years is not going to work anymore. He's going to be fat. He's going to be slow. He's going to be too old for his style of play. He can't shoot a jumper. He doesn't play defense. Right now, it's exciting and fun. I just don't see him becoming like he was the second quickest player to score 2,000 points or whatever it was. What was his stat? Like second fastest, only Michael. It's cool what he's doing. I just don't see him for the long run. Okay. That's not a foul. That was a block by the MVP.
All right.
Definite.
Not here to argue with anything.
He attacked that ball like a bird of prey strikes its prey. It's really unfortunate. What's really unfortunate there is I actually had it written down for a nice little line here, and I messed up the second half of it. This is what happens when you ask people to give you words or phrases to use in the show, and you have it all planned out, and then you screw it up. But it's okay. That's the best part about doing it. That's actually the worst one I've ever had. That was my buddy Eric who gave me that phrase that I just absolutely messed up there.
What was his name?
Bird of prey is what he wanted me to say.
No, what was the friend's name?
Eric.
Thank you for derailing the show.
His
already struggling to stay on the rails.
His last name is spelled. I want you to tell me how you would say this last name right here. It's a BJ at the beginning.
Birkenstrand.
That's not terrible.
Okay.
Bjerkestrand.
Bjerkestrand. Okay, yeah, I get it.
Big Norway guy.
Yeah.
Big Norway guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on.
Okay, I'm just gonna
right. Yes. Yeah. Give me some NBA
okay,
stuff.
First of all, do you understand how the playing games are going to work, like
Nope.
the formatting?
Nope,
Okay,
I
so
don't like the playing games. I'm not interested.
let me tell you. Okay, so the 7 and the 8 seed, when the regular season concludes, will play a game. The
Will they
winner
play
of that,
each other?
yes, they play each other. The
Yep.
winner of that game gets the number 7 seed.
Okay.
The 9 and the 10 seeds will play each other.
Oh, God.
The loser is out. The winner will play the loser of the 7-8 game.
Okay.
So
And then whoever wins that
So that's
is the 8?
the third game. Yeah, whoever wins that is the 8. So basically, if you're a 7 or an 8 seed, you have to lose twice. You get 2 games to play if you don't win that first game. And then the 9 and the 10 seeds, you have to win twice.
They want more money. It's literally a money.
Well,
grab.
obviously they want more money, but it is incentivizing these teams because
It is,
so it is
yeah.
the last couple of weeks of the season, and the only real chatter going on right now because the top 4 seeds are basically locked in both conferences.
Right.
The more interesting storylines happen to be at the tail end
7, 8,
of the standings.
9,
Because a potential matchup, Miami and Charlotte, that would be a hell of a lot of fun for a play-in game. Washington has been cruising right now. They ended up getting on like
They're hot.
9-game win streak was like the first they've had since like Jordan was there in
Right.
01. And they're going to be a problem if they get to the play-in game, which it looks like they will because they're 2 games up on Chicago and Toronto. But having Russell Westbrook playing out of his mind the way he is right now, even though that's usually not what you want in the playoffs, is Russell Westbrook. But he and Beal, they're going to be a problem for whoever they end up playing.
And Rui.
Yeah, and Rui.
We have a video of Rui here. Actually, since we're talking, go ahead, continue. But I just want to show Rui's dunk.
Yeah, Rui's dunk was pretty sick. But yeah, in the West, it's slated to be a Portland-Memphis, which we saw last year in the bubble, and that was a really compelling game.
Good. That should be a
and
good
then
game.
San Antonio and Pop against Golden State, and Golden State being in, Steph Curry being able to play more basketball is always a good thing for the league and the viewers.
Is Popovich homeless? Because he can. Every single time I see him, his hair's longer. He looks worse. He looks not very
He's
well.
old.
He is old.
I mean,
but I mean, like he has hair down to his shoulders.
Yeah,
almost.
I mean, he's always been a pretty rough-looking guy. I can only imagine how bad, as a guy who's dealt with acne, his acne was when he was a youth because he's got like craters on his face from the scarring. Like,
Right.
The scarring on his face is gnarly. So, shout out Pop for overcoming that and being one of the most successful coaches in any sport ever. So,
right,
that
is true.
But
That
anyway,
is a plus. If you become successful, it doesn't matter how ugly you are.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
Basketball is being played.
That's unfortunate that this show isn't nearly as popular as it should be.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't bode well for us.
No, not really. But, we out here.
All right, was that it?
Praying on praise. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to zip through that shit. Yeah,
I
go
know.
ahead.
Yeah, we're a little tight.
Let's see
here.
it. Thank
Let's-
you, Rui,
yeah,
for
let's
actually
see
doing something
Rui's
of
awesome
relevance
dunk.
outside of getting
And then
close to
another
the
game
guy.
against the Clippers at Staples.
Sick. Ooh, yeah. People
Oh,
want an
my
offensive
goodness,
foul, too,
Rui
because it's kind of punched Davis in the face. And
Hachimura
I love it.
It's like, I have an
Anthony
orbital
Davis, he
fracture.
got
I broke
the
my
worst of
nose.
that in
One
more
of the
ways than
softest,
one.
to use your term, softest guys in the NBA. Even the trainers are like, dude, like, you literally just got bruised on your chin to play.
My
You're good.
goodness gracious. Rui in transition.
Rui.
AD coming at him. My goodness. He had
I like it.
Yeah.
I love it. I like it a lot.
Yep.
AD is a wuss. I mean, yeah, it sucks to get hit in the face, but like he laid there and like almost needed attention. It's like, dude, get up.
Yeah.
Get up. The only reason you're still down is because you just got your life destroyed by Rui. I love it. I love to see it. Quickly, Mariners are sliding exactly where we expected them to be. They're second to last in the AL West. The AL West, though, is the best division in football. So that's
Baseball? Also, the NL West is a lot better than the AL West.
No. Based off of just pure winning percentage, the AL West is better.
Is it actually?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I guess they.
But I agree. I think the NL West will be, by season's end, the best division in baseball.
They prey on their praise.
They do. They prey right on their praise. But it's unfortunate because the Mariners just really haven't been playing all that well recently. They're not getting any production from their catchers. Luis Torrens and Tom Murphy are batting like a combined 160.
Also, like 4 through 8 in their lineup is like a combined like 160 batting.
Well,
average.
Evan White's batting 164.
Yeah.
Dylan Moore's batting 111. J.P. Crawford's probably the best
Trammell
of the
is
bunch behind
hot
them.
trash. Is it Trammell or
235. Trammell.
Oh.
Yeah, Tramel's only batting 149. Haniger's playing well at 270. That's not too bad. Ty France has been by far and away the brightest spot, batting 303. Kyle Seager's having a good year, too. 20 RBIs already, batting 260. If he can stay at that mark all season, I'll be happy. Marmoleos is just not doing anything as usual. Kyle Lewis has been struggling since coming back. I'm still going to give him some time because he was out for a few weeks. I think he'll turn it around. Jake Fraley's only batting 100. I mean, the bullpen is the only bright spot, actually. And Evan White's defense has also been a bright spot. Unfortunately, his throwing error is what led the Mariners to essentially lose last night's ball game. Starting pitchings look bad. Marco Gonzalez hasn't been playing nearly as well as he did last year. He has a 5.4 ERA. Kikuchi has a 5.7 ERA. Sheffield has a 5.3 ERA. Justin Dunn's actually done decent. He's a shade under 4. Chris Flexen's been the signing so far of the year, coming over from the Korean League after finding his a little bit better throwing motion. Bullpen also is looking good as well. Outside of that, Mariners are not doing very well. They have lost 3 in a row, at least. They may have actually lost 4. I think they lost.
We go through this every 8 boys.
But this is exactly what I said. Last week, the week before. Mariners are going to be what the Mariners are going to be. This is not their year to compete yet. These young guys, though, do need to show a little bit more for us to be very excited for the 2022 season. But we'll see what happens. Still going to watch the Mariners. Still happy to be a fan somehow. All right, Jabroni time.
Okay, you want me to go first?
I do, because mine's a little more graphic.
Okay, well, I got 2. One's kind of brief. Do you want to do the New Balance one first? Thank you.
Were you asking me?
Sam, well, no, I'm talking.
You were talking to Sam?
Okay, so these shoes came out, New Balance. I guess they're like recyclable or whatever.
That's horrendous.
Made to sustain, and then some guy had a tweet, and it was like, yeah, sustain your virginity, and I was like, nice.
I'd rather see the world burn.
Yeah, no, these shoes like they look like they got burned.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so we got to stop as a society. If this is progression and forward thinking, we need to chill.
I don't want it.
Yeah, no, I'm good being a Neanderthal.
I'm not a big shoe guy. Like, I don't care that much. But those made me like ill.
The pink one, Sam said, for Futurama fans out there, he said looked like Hypnotoad, shaped like Hypnotoad. So, yeah.
We'll see who gets that reference. I don't get that reference, but I do know that show's funny. Okay. My buddy AJ, actually, who commented earlier, I think does watch that. Maybe even Scotty. By the way, this is my buddy Scotty's jersey.
I was going to say, I haven't seen it yet. Big hands guy. Okay, so my second one is, and stop me if you heard this before, but ESPN's social media manager.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Okay, first of all, so so the tweet, so ESPN put up 2 years ago, Avengers Endgame was released in theaters. Thanos called Endgame, and so the picture is Thanos on a basketball court. The picture itself is actually pretty sweet. All the little figurines. He just switched a jumper. He's got his snapping finger still up in the air. And then all the opponents are, fading to dust. And so he didn't do that in Endgame. That happened in Infinity War. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were on this, but tough one here. The wrong movie and the wrong scene. Their parent company is Disney. Do not forget. ESPN, that is. Yeesh.
That's pretty funny. I did not see that.
Yeah, no. Bleacher Report, social media, awful. ESPN, social media, awful. Most major sports media entities, it's eyeball emojis and flame emojis and hashtag it's all love.
It's not good.
The worst. But yeah, those are my bronies.
Yeah, that's a good one. Those are good ones. I didn't like that though. Yeah. You're a jabroni for calling it bronies.
Yeah, I kind of like it. That's going to be my thing now.
No, hopefully not. All right, I have mine here. We're going to watch a video here, and I will tell you who my jabroni is following this video. Graphic, not suitable for work.
Yeah, you want to do the Jim Nance.
If you are queasy, do not watch this or watch it because it's really entertaining.
Tell me what happened. Here it is. Watch this.
Joe, where did it land?
Joe, where did it land? Right below the knee. Right below the knee. And it immediately snapped in half. Come on, take a look at it here. Look at this.
I'm not going to look, Joe. Just tell me.
It mirrored what happened with him and Anderson.
Oh, God.
That might be the worst one that I've seen. Not going to lie.
All right, so he's not my jabroni. No, my jabroni is Chris Weidman's leg. Don't break like that, please. That is horrible.
Didn't drink enough milk growing up.
Like you said, he didn't seem to realize it, which is insane, until he stepped and all he had was skin. And his skin was like, I can't hold you. Like, I can't hold your body weights, dude. Sorry.
So the jabroni is bone integrity, I guess?
His leg bone integrity.
Okay.
His tibia and fibula there.
Yeah.
Definite jabroni. That sucks. What's crazy about that, he was the guy defending against Anderson Silva when Anderson Silva snapped his leg in a very similar fashion. I guess it's a leg check is what it's called. Like, you check the kick, and when that happens, like, it's a very good opportunity for your leg to break. Chris Weidman said he's going to be back. I think he can't walk. I think he can't walk without crutches for like 4 months or something ridiculous, and he'll be back in like 8 to 10.
Okay.
Sounds that's awful. Right. I love watching injuries. I really do. I really get. I am very interested in them, but that one's pretty bad. That's a pretty bad one. That was only 17 seconds into the fight. First time in UFC history a guy won without ever having to throw a punch. Not good. All right. Ready for your sports fact?
Yeah.
This one was really interesting to me. I had to actually look it up to confirm. We just lost all of our viewers. I guess we're not interesting enough. Went from 7 to 0. That's not good. That leg, we're out. We are so out on this show now. The sports fact of the week, I guess, actually, is in the NBA, before 1937, the referee, they would do a new jump ball at center court after every basket. Before 1937.
Wait, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Imagine. So we complain now in sports about how slow and awful and just tedious games are. Could you imagine? I can't imagine that. Like, that just seems so. Like, that seems like a different planet was like, play basketball, and they're like, okay. And, like, every single basket, they're like, let's redo, I guess, the beginning here. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that was a thing.
That is a fun fact. I guess not fun fact for you, but for everybody else who is
not watching.
Who's not here anymore.
That one really fell flat. Bring it next.
Yeah, really.
Next
Yeah,
week.
see, look, it says no viewers. That's weird. It's fine. You know, we're doing our best up here. All right, closing time. Give it to me.
Okay. Basically, just talking about the Seahawks drafts of the past 2011 in particular. Their best, not their best pick, but ended up being Doug Baldwin, who went undrafted. But, I mean, between KJ and Richard, I mean, Byron was integral for a couple years there. Malcolm Smith, unfortunately, has the only Super Bowl MVP in Seahawks history, which is truly unfortunate. I think he's with the Cleveland Browns right now. But so I wanted to ask you, what was your most hated pick that you can remember at the time watching Seattle draft somebody, and who was your favorite?
What year? That year?
No, sorry. Just in the moment, all drafts that you can remember being like, hell yes and hell no.
Are we talking Pete Carroll era or all time?
All time. Whatever's easier for you to get out on the spot.
A quick list here, because there are people who are definitely going to just stand out. So I probably really restart remembering NFL drafts. I would have to say probably Pete. I'd say the Pete Carroll era is when, like, I really have been able to remember draft picks.
Yeah.
You mentioned Aaron Curry already. That one stands out a lot because I do remember coming out of college, like, Aaron Curry was a lock. Like, he was a guy. He was almost like the Trevor Lawrence of quarterbacks. Linebackers. Sorry. He literally, like, was considered to be one of the highest grade linebackers in college football history. Very similar to Brian Bosworth coming out of college. Like, they both were just monsters in college, and that completely fell flat. But that one, again, I remember, but it didn't really stand out. So if we're looking here at Pete Carroll era, the picks that really stood out to me that I really remembered and, like, I loved that, their 2010 draft, both their first-round draft picks, I remember being Okung and Earl Thomas, and I remember that day because they both had their press conference, and it was a huge deal for the franchise because both of those guys, again, were massive stars in college. Earl Thomas was a big deal because everybody thought that they were going to take the USC safety. I
have no idea.
I'm going to find it because he played under Pete Carroll, under Pete Carroll, and everybody was like, he's going to Taylor Mays. Everybody was like, he's going to take Taylor Mays. Taylor Mays also was a high school football player here in Washington State, went to USC. So, like, that was a big deal when they picked Earl Thomas because it was always seen that Taylor Mays was going to get that selection there. So those are my favorite, probably my ones that I was just like, what are you doing? That was terrible at the time. I defended Bruce Irvin, actually, in 2012 when he came out. I was a big supporter of Bruce Irvin. I didn't really see what's crazy is you go through so many of these guys, they trade back so often that when they pick in the second round, they're not really seen as Rashad Penny was probably
that was going to be mine. Yeah.
One that stands out a lot because I'm like, we have guys here right now. If I had to pick another one here in the second round that I was just like, I don't know if I love. Christian Michael was also kind of up there. Both running backs, actually, I'd probably say over the last 8 years I was not thrilled with. Running backs just aren't a fun position to draft. I think also doesn't help.
No, they're not.
But other than that, I really loved that 2010 draft. The 2011 one, obviously, here was big. But they just went through, an incredibly successful period for the 2010, 11, 12, 13 drafts were just massive. Actually, 13 was not good, but Thorold Simon, not good out of LSU.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Not good. Yeah. All right. Do you have any more takeaways from that?
Nope.
All right. Perfect. My closing time here. Here's a nice picture of a beautiful ballpark. My buddy Eric, who gave me that phrase, actually lives in Boston right now. Just went to the Mariners-Boston game on, I want to say, Saturday. He went to Fenway. Anyway, Fenway Park has confirmed that they will be hosting 16 of 38 Boston public school graduations this spring. I don't know if that's a regular occurrence. I feel like it should be if it's not, but that's awesome either way. Like how awesome would it be if you have photos at Fenway and your cap and gown?
Yeah,
like
seriously.
You're just set up there it's just a very mosaic ballpark. Just beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. I'd love to go there. Yeah.
Where did you graduate from?
College?
Sorry, where was your graduation ceremony in high school?
So it was at Eastern, the whatchamacallit, Reese Court.
Reese Court.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of cement.
Yeah, it is. That's kind of an ugly arena. It's old. I get that, but it's
Is there anywhere cool in Spokane that you can graduate?
So my high school graduation was at the Kennel. That was pretty cool.
No, yeah.
That's
cool.
probably, if we're looking at like sports venues specifically, that's probably the coolest one to graduate from. The arena's done a lot. The arena's not bad because it can fit so many people.
I wouldn't mind the arena, actually. I mean, that would be overkill for a Cheney graduation, but...
Right.
Yeah.
Your 150 graduating class?
We had like 350.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We were also one of the largest classes like in the history to ever go through Cheney, though. So.
We were I think like 420, 412, somewhere in there at Meade. But yeah, GU was at the arena, so that was fun. A lot of people also graduate in the Opera House. Gonzaga Prep. Actually, a lot of the Spokane public schools actually graduate from the Opera House, which is now the FICA, the First Interstate Center of the Arts, because they bought out the INB.
Better than Lumen.
Fun fact. Better. Oh, the name. I thought you meant like a venue. I was like, would if I could graduate at CenturyLink, Lumen, Quest, that'd be sweet. All right, another. We crawled through that one.
Yeah.
Another episode. Episode, like I said at the beginning, episode number 43. We're cruising right along.
Next week, Richie Saxon.
Oh yeah.
Nick Ballore.
Poor Richie Saxon. I loved when he came. Both he and Beltre came to Seattle at the exact same time, and I was so pumped for that team. Richie Saxon never really did anything. Beltre, they both did stuff in Seattle. Let's be honest, but they both weren't nearly as good in Seattle as they were at the previous teams.
Yep.
But I did love me some Richie Saxon.
Oh yeah.
He was the classic massive first baseman who just hit dingers.
Yep.
All right.
Perfect.
Any plans coming up this weekend?
I'm working.
Nice. You gonna make another big round of tips?
Big haul. Yep.
Nice.
Give me your tips. That's all I got.
All right. Well, with that one, we will see you here, same time, same place. Locker room, as we said, number 44. Thanks for stopping by again, and we'll talk again next week.
Just remember that prey is prey on their prey. Thanks for watching The Locker Room on Spokane Talks. Check us out on Facebook as well as our other platforms. We want to hear from you. Join the conversation by emailing us at info@SpokaneTalksOnline.com. And for more sports news, opinions, and content, follow Justin and me on Twitter.